In this video, I wanted to take an opportunity here to give kind of an overview as to how distance Reiki works. Now, maybe this video is going to be useful for you just to understand how distance healing could even be possible, right? Or maybe you can utilize this video and the content of this video to help explain it to your own clients. Either way, I hope that this is beneficial to each and every one of you and for your practice. Now, obviously, everything in this video is just going to be my thoughts, that have been developing over the many years that I've been practicing Reiki, both professionally and personally. And I'm not going to go super deep into the discussion as to how it works because it's literally an entire course, right? The further we go into this conversation, it's like opening up a rabbit hole. And we just keep going further and further and further into the meaning of Reiki, into the meaning of non-dualistic space, right? And I don't mean space like metaphorically, I mean a non-dualistic practice, right? And a practice that recognizes there is no separation of time and space. So there's a lot to unpack with that. But this video, and the point of this video, is to give you the language or the verbiage to explain this to a potential client in a couple of sentences, right? And then also to hopefully allow something to sink for you so that you can understand how distance Reiki works, okay? Now, first off, if we're going to look at a distance healing session, we have to maybe go back to the definition of Reiki, universal energy, the energy of all things. Not living things, all things, everything in the universe. So that literally means every possible thing that we could ever think of is at its foundational core, the energy of the universe. We can call that Reiki if you want, or just universal energy. For the sake of this video and for most of my videos, I refer to that, of course, as Reiki. But see, here's the idea from this. And I think Reiki practitioners quite often forget this most fundamental concept, that Reiki is the energy of literally everything that there could possibly be in the universe, right? What I mean by that is sometimes we say, or not me, but I mean, we can hear that in the Reiki world in particular, people will say things like, I'm going to Reiki my food, or I'm going to send Reiki to this thing, or I'm going to channel Reiki from the source, or I'm going to do whatever. None of that, if we remember the definition of Reiki, none of those things make sense. And I would challenge each and every one of you to reflect back on your own teachings, or to maybe ask this of your teachers. If Reiki is the energy of literally everything in the universe, then how can I send energy to the thing that is already Reiki energy? That's like me saying I'm going to pour water on water to make it more wet. It doesn't make any sense, right? That type of thought is framed in belief. And for us to start to open a conversation about how distance healing works, we have to get away from the world of belief. We have to get away from the world of separation and duality. You see, if I recognize that my body and my mind and my thoughts and my trauma and my belief and even my potential past lives and my future self, if I recognize that all of those things are part of the universal fabric of energy, well, what step do I take next? Okay, so I've recognized that I'm part fully of the fabric of universal energy. But what if I also recognize that you are part of the fabric of universal energy? Or this wall behind me. Is the wall not also part of the fabric of everything in the universe? Right? So you see, as soon as we can start to recognize a lack of separation, then we can start to recognize that connection, and we can simply sit in the flow of energy, right? We can simply sit with the practice of Reiki. Reiki is not a healing modality, right? Again, we need to, I think, discuss Reiki in more honest terms. The only person that can heal you is you. The only person that can heal me is me. Nobody can give me universal energy and make me heal. That doesn't make any sense. I already am universal energy. I suffer because there's resistances in my body to that universal energy. I have to let go of them. Somebody else can't do that for me. But you see, most teachers and practitioners of Reiki have a mindset that they will remove blockages and they'll do this and do that and whatever. That's belief, right? Now, I'm not trying to say that there's not a space for healing in that. You might believe that that's happening. And in that belief, you might actually let go of your own trauma and then associate that with the ideas or the claims that have been made by your teacher. You've still healed, so not that big of a deal. But at some point, as we progress, we have to recognize that these things are dead ends, right? Belief is a dead end. And so going back to the idea of distance Reiki, if I recognize that only I can heal myself, and you recognize that only you can heal yourself, and we both recognize that we are part of the fabric of the universal energy, well then what do I do as a Reiki healer via distance? I do the exact same that I do as a Reiki healer in proximity or in person. Hold space for the person that I'm working with. That's it, okay? So when the client is with me live, my hands are on the body, they're moving, through the body and so on. And I'm holding space for that individual so that as they start to approach the resistances in themselves, the trauma, the areas that need healing and so on, they can feel the support of the session. You can feel the heat, the kindness, the love, and so on, the stability. You can hopefully sense the lack of belief. My goal as a Reiki practitioner and as a Reiki healer is quite often explained like this. Imagine that I'm walking just behind you and I'm blindfolded, but my hands are on your back. And in front of you is all of the things that you need to heal from. The darkness, right? Scariness, the heaviness. And in the sessions, you keep taking steps. You can take steps further and deeper into your own healing journey, right? Those steps are going to, at some point, become pretty scary, pretty daunting steps. That's how we heal. We have to face all of these things. And so imagine you're moving on your journey, but you can feel behind you if you stumble, or if you need help, or if your metaphoric legs get weak because it's too heavy. I got you. My hands are right there. I'm supporting you. I can't do that if I have belief about you, right? I can't do that if I have belief about your journey. So, coming back, this is why I was saying there's so much to talk about in this one simple question. But coming back to the idea here then, if I'm universal energy, if you are universal energy, if you are walking your own healing path and I'm there to hold space for you, then all that I'm doing is I'm simply quieting the mind, quieting the body, recognizing that you and I are not separated because we're part of the same fabric of the universe, and then I'm holding space for you, right? I'm holding the presence of my own stillness to help encourage more stillness in you. And it does work vice versa. I don't want that to sound loaded like I have an immense amount of stillness. That's not what I'm saying. I cultivate stillness through my work, through my daily self-practice, so that I can hold that stillness with others, right? So distance Reiki works because we recognize that time and space are constructs of the mind. They simply don't exist, right? And if they don't exist, then we are not separated. We are in union. We are together, even over vast distances. And so when I'm holding a distance session and I'm trying to cultivate stillness internally to hold space for the person, then that might simply look like my hands towards the screen. With my mind, perhaps at any time that it wanders, I might recite the person's name or remember what they look like and so on, just to give a little bit of focus. And if my body is very quiet and I'm recognizing less of Bruce and more stillness, then I might simply place my hands on my body, and in my mind, I'm envisioning the practice or the session taking place as if my body was yours, as a surrogate body, as it were, right? We can also do that with any type of decoys, like a stuffed animal, right? A photo, anything that we can utilize for our mind to give a point of focus or reference on the person is sufficient, right? And so another key component, though, to Reiki and distance Reiki working is the ability of the individual on the receiving end, or on the, I don't want to say receiving end because again, that sounds like I'm giving something, but on the other side of the computer screen or the monitor or whatever it may be, they have to also understand that time and space are irrelevant, and they have to surrender into the practice. If they don't let go, there's nothing that's going to come from the practice because they're doing the healing. So remember what I was saying earlier about taking steps on your own journey, right? If those individuals are not willing to let go into the idea that a distance session is possible, then it's like them standing on their own journey of healing and not budging. So nothing's going to happen, right? So we have to work to explain or inspire an understanding in our clients to let go at the beginning of a session and surrender and just let the thing happen, right? Let Reiki happen, okay? Now that's all well and good from a metaphysical perspective, and a lot of people who are coming to you for Reiki, right, of course, are going to be happy with a metaphysical discussion because it's a metaphysical healing practice. But what happens when you have that person who is literal or analytical or scientific in their mind? What do you tell them? Well, this is what I tell them. So I bring up examples where we recognize in our own lives very concretely and very factually that time and space are not anything beyond a social construct or a construct of the mind. So examples that I give are this, and we've all heard these. There's so many examples of twins, for instance, who might live on opposite sides of the planet, who wear the same color clothing every single day without any type of phone calls or communication whatsoever. That's just naturally what they do. Twins also end up feeling each other's pain. When one person gets an injury, the other person can feel it. This is very well documented with twins. And any discussion beyond that, of course, has to become a little bit metaphysical. I mean, we could talk about them sharing the same egg, the same energy at creation, or whatever it might be, the same story, the same lineage. Again, so much to discuss there that I would just use that example of the twins for the client. Also bring in the example, because most of your clients will probably be parents, about how we just instinctively know when our kids are hurt or in danger or in need of anything. Or how we just instinctively know that somebody's going to call us, right? And we've all had that experience. You know, when you think about somebody, it's weird, I haven't thought about them for like 4 years. I haven't seen them for 10 years, right? And then all of a sudden they call, they get in contact with you, and then we think these things are coincidences, but they're not. It's the energy that is being rippled through time and space, as it were, which really means just the energy of all things. It's that communication that's being sent out, right? Imagine it like this. If the entire Pacific Ocean was completely calm, not a single atom was moving, and I know it's not possible. I'm just saying, like, this massive body of water that is completely calm, right? In that body of water, it's just water. It's not this type of water and that type of water. There's no separation. It's uniform. And so if one person is in California and one person is in Taiwan and the Pacific Ocean is completely still, if one person touches the water, then that will be received by the other person. Metaphorically speaking, I'm not saying it literally. I'm just saying in a uniform body, like is the energy of the universe, all of that experience is transcended and sent throughout the entirety of the universe, right? Because again, it's the energy of all things. So if we can start to approach the idea of distance Reiki, how does it work from some of these perspectives? And if we can communicate this and articulate it, this is so important. If we can communicate and articulate this in a way that each and every one of our clients are going to understand, and that will resonate with them, then we take away the doubt, right? We take away the resistance to letting go. And if they can just let go, then they will have a result. There will be an experience because we let go of belief and we arrive on the other side of the self, right? I've had thousands of Reiki sessions, via distance, and I've never had anybody come out, knock on wood, but I've never had anybody come out saying, yeah, I didn't feel anything. I really don't know why I did that. It's never really happened, right? If it's explained and articulated well enough at the beginning, if the space is held in you as the practitioner of non-duality, no belief, not like you're pulling and doing and activating and doing all this, let go, just let go and let the practice happen, right? If we're doing both of those, then the individual client will come out of the session with an experience, with healing, with a step or 2 or 20 or 100 further along their own path of healing. So like I said, there's literally so much to cover. I cover all of this in my Okudan and Shimpuden classes at great lengths, because the questions of distance healing and understanding Reiki from these perspectives is one that we really need to dive into. But I hope that this video has helped shed some light on the idea of how does distance Reiki work. I hope it's given you some takeaways that you can share with your clients and perhaps with your own business as you're creating maybe your own Reiki space to convey this idea of distance healing to anybody who might be seeking you out. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, please put them in the comments below. I'm very happy to read them, and of course I'll reply. And I'm always so grateful of support for my channel here on YouTube by your subscriptions and also hitting that notification icon so that every week when my videos are posted, you'll be notified. Thank you so much, everybody. As always, be well and in Gassho.